Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, let's talk about AK magazines. Disassembly for cleaning and what you should look out for. The weak part of any semi-automatic weapon is usually the magazine because it's sticking out, it gets bumped, it gets dropped into dirt. So whenever you're taking a magazine apart to clean it, one of the first things you want to inspect is the feed lips and stuff up here. You want to make sure there's no cracks or anything going on like that. Same way with the bakelite. Here we will show you what a crack looks like. See that crack right there? Now they put reinforcing metal on these bakelite magazines because they know this is an area of a lot of stress. So when you see that crack up here, some of that is protected by metal. So these are not necessarily non-functional, but that's one area you want to check. Of course, you know, the catches and everything, you know, just kind of a general inspection. Something you may or may not know about these magazines are, you see that little hole right there? That little hole is the follower goes down this. We'll take this apart, but the follower goes down here, and when you've got a fully loaded magazine, you'll see a round sitting right there. This is much better than having a big wide opening right here because you don't want dirt in your magazine. That's another thing that, you know, these things get a lot of dirt in them and stuff like that, and it can get to where it'll bind up, and these are very easy to take apart. You really just need like thumbnail pressure, you know, to push this down. You can use the tip of a bullet if you want. I don't want you to make a liar out of me. I just took this one apart earlier with my thumb, but now there we go. You just mash down and you start pushing backwards. See, this little thing's got to clear this lip here. Of course, you know, whenever you're doing it on video, now be very careful here because this thing, there is a massive spring in here. And if you're sitting here looking like this and pulling it apart, this is going to give you a wake-up call right in the face. I got one right above my left eye from this because I'd taken it apart before and I was looking at it and everything. I was going, oh, this. And then, bam, this thing just shot out. Observe the way this is put in here because you want to, if this comes loose and everything, what you want to do is you want to make sure this spring right here, its foot is on, I don't know if I can show this very well. Its foot is on this. See this? It's kind of like help capture that or whatever. You see, it can be like that, but then it gets kind of wonky and everything. So you want this little, anyways. We'll just take that out for right now. But you take this spring out, and then you just follow the curve. You can kind of push it down with you want with your finger, but this comes out, and then this is your follower. So you just clean that up. You make sure there's no rust. When I pulled this out, there was a dead bug right here. It was like a cocoon or something, I don't know, but it had been dead for a while. So this magazine hadn't been loaded in a long time. Now, you want to inspect for dents. You see all that dust and crap in there? So we want to get rid of that. Let me pause this. We get like a cleaning brush, you know, and just run in here. Now, you could take, you know, an air compressor, you know, and hit it with that. And this one is almost not big enough. So I might want to put like a rag or something in there. And you might be tempted, this is metal, this is metal. You might be tempted to put oil in there. No, don't put oil in here. Because oil attracts dirt and dust. These things will work fine with no lubrication. If you have the urge to throw some kind of lubricant in here, graphite, I guess, you know, it's going to be messy. It's going to go everywhere. But I guess graphite wouldn't attract dust, and it's a dry lubricant. They probably make dry film lubricants that you can put in there. But really, believe me, you usually don't need it. If a magazine's messing up, you'll know it. You know, like if you get a click and you pull it back and the follower's way down there and you still got rounds, I mean, you can still see rounds down there, then you've got a dent in here, or you've got a messed up follower, you know, it's bent. Some of the ones used to be, when they were short, would get cockeyed, would kind of like cant in here. This is long enough that it won't. All right, so we just, you know, I'm trying to make this quick and everything, but we just basically, you know, do this. You could take that all apart again, like I said, if you want. It's not that hard. It's just make sure you put it back together properly. That's all, you know. And if you've got a spare extra magazine lying around, you can look at it to copy it and see if you did something wrong. All right, so once you get that in there, now getting this guy again. All I do with this is I stick this down here, get this, and I turn it. Like that. Stick it in like this, and turn it, and it's got to be captive for that to work. So here's where you need to be an octopus, and you got to have 1,000 arms and all this other stuff, but you remember that, I don't know if you're ever a kid, but I remember having one of these Jack-in-a-Box thing. Wham! And that's what happens when this thing flies out when you're not expecting it. All right, let's get this where you can see it. So anyways, we're struggling here. We're struggling. And we shouldn't have to struggle. What am I doing wrong? Still have my cotton in here. That's what I'm doing wrong. So like I said, you know, these videos here are not highly polished and highly edited and everything, because I want to show you what can go wrong, not what is perfect, you know. So you can already see if you put your take that out of there, and things might go a little bit differently. All right, you see how this is shaped? That shaped like that. That's pretty much the way that's got to go in. All right, you just gather this stuff up here. Where's our little plate? We got to make sure we got our floor plate. You can look at that too, because a lot of times this is where it drops. It drops either on the floor plate or the magazine lips when you drop a magazine. So you just want to make sure that's not all screwed up. It used to be these magazines were cheap, man. I bought these back in the day when they were like surplus, brand new, cheap, you know, new old stock type of stuff. All right. Now this part right here, like I said, is really tricky because we've got to get that. Have I got this right? I think I got it right. I might have this wrong. I do. I have it wrong. See how the plate is not lined up with here? So let's take this and undo him and do him like that. It's got my finger. It's got my finger. There, see? It'll basically only go in one way. You know, you can try to do it the stupid way like I did. All right, so you push that all the way down, and you want to make sure that both of these rails are engaged. And then you might have to do a little pushing down with your finger on the rest of that just to get it to go cooperate with you. And then there, it's back together. So there's a struggling way of taking it apart. It's the same procedure with the Bakelite magazines. It's the same procedure with there's a 40 round. I can't show it to you, but there's a 40 round magazine that used to go to the, I think it was the RPD or whatever. But anyways, it was the heavy barrel, longer version, squad automatic support weapon, and their standard magazine was either a drum, a 75 round drum, which I can't show you either. I happen to have, but also a 40 round magazine, so they could take stick or drum, and yeah. But yeah, that I figured out. I didn't see this anywhere on any. Nobody ever talks about this. It's even on the Bakelite one here. I cut a hole in this just to show you that they did it on the Bakelite ones. That has to be what the reason for it is, to let you know when you've got a fully loaded magazine. Myself, I don't keep 30 rounds in the magazines. I keep 29. It may be bogus or whatever, but I just don't like the springs being completely compressed all the time. You shouldn't really leave your magazines loaded a long time, but I've done it with AKs for decades. I've had AK magazines that have been loaded for decades. I fired them, and they function properly. I don't know if that's the correct way to do it, but otherwise you leave your magazines empty, and everything's on stripper clips, and you feed them in, and good luck with that, because I usually feed them in by hand. But yeah, there you go. I hope that you found that somewhat useful, informative, or entertaining. You can laugh at me. That's all right. I don't mind, because I do some stupid stuff sometimes. You should have seen this when this spring came out and hit me in the face and look on my face. I laughed at myself for being an idiot, because I was like, I wonder what it's caught on. Bam! Right in the face. Anyways, there you go. I hope you got a chuckle. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.